Hey everyone, it's Jay.
And Sean.
And we're outside.
Yes, we are. It's a beautiful day.
That's right. For Mother's Day we had snow. For Father's Day we're having a heat wave. It is boiling degrees, according to Sean. About 38 according to the weather. And yeah, guess what? We're still watching movies. Not during the day. Not out in the sun.
No.
No, we're just talking about them. Fudgy wants you to throw his toy. Excuse us. So, I watched 7500, 7500, however you want to call it. It is the international code for an airplane hijacking situation. And it is the new movie on Amazon Prime with Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Our favorite.
Yes, a big return to acting. Here's Fudgy again. We haven't seen him for a long, long time, it feels like. And we miss him, of course, because he is one of our favorites. But I think, like all artists and creators, sometimes you have to, re-nourish your soul and fill up your well from other sources. And he got married and had a baby, and he's doing actually a lot of work empowering other artists and giving them a platform. So
that's all worthy stuff.
Worthy things, exactly. So this was kind of an interesting movie for him to choose as his comeback vehicle, because it kind of subverts expectations. As soon as you hear an airplane hijacking, you almost start to picture like Jared Butler as the air marshal. Like you can already know what this movie is going to be like.
Kurt Russell and Steven Seagal, an executive decision.
Okay. Boy. Yeah. Okay. But that is not this movie. It's really more of, a very intimate character portrayal. He actually plays the copilot. He's an American copilot on a German airline. So the flight is Berlin to Paris. And it takes place entirely in the cockpit. So if you're afraid of flying, plus you have a bit of claustrophobia, take some relaxing pills and a big old half bottle of wine at least, because this movie is intense. It is so intense I had to stop like halfway through just to catch my breath first of all, regroup. Like I knew as soon as I pressed play again I was going right back into a very terrible situation, and it was a lot for me to handle actually. This is not a horror movie. It is the worst kind of horror. Like, you can throw, sewer clowns at me all day long, and I'm fine. But fear of flying is a real thing. And I don't love flying, to be honest. I'm not sure if anybody does.
I don't think anyone
Certainly,
does.
perhaps only the very rich or heavily medicated.
You can make it nicer and more bearable, but I don't see how anyone could enjoy being a passenger on a plane.
That's right. It is a not fun situation, and actually, of all the things you have to fear when flying, hijacking is not really even one of them.
It's pretty low on the list. Yeah,
that's right.
It's very rare.
I mean, coronavirus is going to be much higher on the list right now.
Yes.
Drunk pilots.
Drunk pilots, yep.
Chatty seatmates.
Oh, yeah.
Stranger chatty
Strangers.
seatmates, or sometimes even the ones you know. And not enough legroom when you're 6'6",
Never,
Sean?
Never enough legroom.
So, this movie is just super tense because you know what's going to happen. You can't help but knowing. So even when they're going through the very mundane pre-flight checks, which are quite minimal, my goodness, why do we even have 2 humans in this cockpit? We should have 0 humans in the cockpit because none of them are doing anything. Basically, their job is to order their sandwich, check how much the fuel weighs, which is, I feel, a weird thing, but, that does determine how high the plane will go. And, decide whether to take baggage off for late passengers. That's really, that's it. Now you're done. You put on that nice uniform and fini. So I guess we still have human pilots because we have human passengers, and humans feel more comfortable with humans than with machines, even though that is craziness. Machines are almost uniformly better at everything.
Yeah, and they're probably better at responding to a hijacking.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Of course, the autopilot can do, emergencies like your engine's blowing out. The autopilot can deal with that stuff. Hijacking, it hasn't been programmed for. But guess what? Humans are extremely fallible. Okay, it is a lot of pressure to put on somebody, and of course the pilot's number one job is to keep the terrorist outside of the cockpit. By any means necessary, by every means necessary, do not let that door be breached. But a little hiccup is that our co-pilot is in love with one of the flight attendants, and has had a years-long relationship with and a child with this woman. So when it is her throat that's going to be cut or the door opened, gosh.
Yeah, that's pressure.
That is pressure.
A robot would not give in to that pressure.
A robot would not give in. That's right. Should we give in?
Yes, I think so.
Okay. It is a very intense movie, guys. You will get to ask yourselves questions like that. Is saving my partner in the moment, again, in the moment, because terrorists rarely hijack a plane because they had a hankering for the Caribbean, you will find. I have found. Not by personal experience, mostly by movie experience, but they usually just want to crash it. So, I don't know.
It's hard. It's a hard choice.
It's a rough thing.
Because you don't know in that moment what their goal is. Mm-hmm. So you can't really make that calculation of is that worse than causing someone to be killed right now.
That's right. So, you know what? It is a rough movie to get through. It is very good. Because it throws you into the intensity and being entirely set in the cockpit, you do have this impending sense of doom, of course, but there's also this sense of immediacy, like it is happening to you. And it almost is, because it's almost in real time. But really, you're right sitting beside him, and you're feeling all of his emotions. It's not a big dialogue-heavy film, so he really does get to use all of his, his whole spectrum of acting skills, because we see on his face that he is thinking not just of the people behind that we don't see, but also the people below, right? Because it's not just the passengers that are going to die if this thing goes down. So that's a lot of weight for anyone to carry, and I guess it's perhaps worth being paid to just, read your magazine and eat some bad airline food as your job most of the days. But yeah, you really have to be prepared for the heaviness of the film and be prepared to be blown away by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who carries this thing as he must, because it is really a first-person experience that we're going through. And it is okay to press pause. It won't help. It won't help because you're going straight back into hell. But it does end. One way or another, it does end. And I think you will feel proud of yourself for having watched it, and I think you will feel rewarded for having watched it.
Sounds good.
What else do you want? Really? It's Amazon Prime.
You've sold it.
I hope I have, yes. Do check it out. It is a different kind of hijacking plane movie, and I think a really kind of good kind. I enjoyed it.
That sounds great.
Good. Well, thank you for watching. Bye.
Bye.